What's up, guys? So I just got this new BRS Warhead. These guys are mainly known for their ballast songs. It's Blade Runner systems. I believe that's the full terminology. And I got this auto that they recently came out with. It is called the Warhead. I got it in OD green, but it looks more like a brown to me. Everything on it looks pretty good. It's got perfect centering. Fit and finish is pretty decent. There's a noise when you shake it. I haven't quite figured out what it is. I thought it was the pocket clip at first, but it's something inside the pivot there. Not real sure what's causing that. Anyway, new auto on the market. You know I'm gonna want it. So I picked this up from BladeHq. It's got a fantastic Stonewash on it. Immediately after opening, though, this was something I thought I needed to bring to some folks' attention, because if I had known this, I never would have purchased the knife. The button to release the blade has just the tiniest amount of movement before it deploys. I'm actually scared to carry this in my pocket because there's no safety on it. I've never had an auto knife where I felt that way. I've always thought safeties on an automatic knife are superfluous. Now they do have the button sitting below the handle, but there is a little bit of a raised indent, kind of peeks out there. And I'll bring you guys down closer because I really want you to see the movement, the travel that's in this thing. It's bare minimal. It just takes just the slightest amount of pressure and that knife pops right out. So if it's in your pocket, you bend over, you have anything else in your pocket that touches it, it's not going to take much and that knife is going to come out on you. I don't know if all of them are this way or if it's just my particular model. I mean, obviously I've only got this one knife to look at, but if they are all this way, it is a piss poor button design in my opinion. I pulled out some other autos of mine just to compare them against it, and every single one of them has almost double the amount of plunger lock interface with the blade that this one does. I did notice on my ProTech Brend, my Brend 2, it has almost about the same amount of movement, but that button sits below the frame, so there's almost zero chance you're actually going to hit it or deploy it. This one sits proud of the frame. It's not a lot, but because of that stepping button design, it does sit proud. And I'll bring you guys down close and show you what I'm talking about. Now here we have the plunge lock interface, and what this does is it rests in the choil of the knife inside here, so that plunge lock is on a spring. When you press the button, the plunge goes down, it releases the knife. Now I want you to notice the amount of travel that moves up when the knife closes. It's barely got any kind of material to hold on to right there. I hope you can see that. It takes very little pressure to get that down. And like I said, the button sits proud of the frame, so it seems to me like that's going to be easy to deploy in the pocket. I mean, it takes almost no effort. I just wanted to show some other examples of this to give you an idea of how other designers do it. Now this is the Boker Kalashnikov. You got the same general idea. Now this is going to be a little hard to see. Let me get my flashlight on it. Now you see how big that plunge is? See how far down it's got to go? There's a bunch of material there for that knife to grab onto. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Let me see if I can get the lighting in a position where I can use both hands and simulate this a little better. Nope, that's not gonna do it. I believe you can see what I'm talking about though. Give you another example. This is my ProTech Duru. Again, just a massive amount of material for that tang to grab onto. And as you can see, this button actually sits flush with the handle, so it takes quite a bit of pressure. And as you can see, the knife isn't deployed yet, but it's still pushing down on that plunge. It takes quite a bit of pressure to get that to fully engage. And compared to this, I mean, it's night and day difference. Here's another ProTech TR3, same thing. Button is flush with the frame. You got a lot of material there for the knife and the plunge to interface with. And I've got one cheap model here. I got a Ganzo. Even they did it, in my opinion, better. See how much material engages that knife? Now their button it's just a little bit proud of the frame, but you've got to really push this thing down. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, that's halfway down and it's still not dislodged. Just a concern before you purchase this knife, something I think everyone needs to be aware of. It bothers me to no end. I'm really scared to put this in my pocket and carry it around at work because I just know it's going to go off. I'm not going to realize it. I'm going to reach in my pocket and cut the shit out of myself. Other than that, I really like the knife. I love this blade shape. It's nice and thin. It's almost a full flat grind. I mean, you just got this very small amount of flat up here. Little swedge up there at the top. Everything is done really nicely. This S35 VN steel. Big lanyard hole. The clip's not the greatest, and it does take a lot of effort to get it in the pocket. This thing has an insane amount of retention on it, so it's a two-handed operation for sure. Nice milling in the aluminum scales. Now it's got that anodized finish, very similar to a Benchmade 940. I'm not a fan of that kind of finish, so if I decide to keep this knife, I may take a Brillo pad to that and smooth it out some. I'm still in the air on whether I'm going to keep this. I think I've got 30 days to return it to BladeHq. I have to double check that. If not, I need to get this back in the mail ASAP. Haven't carried it. I've kept it in the little pouch that it came in just because I've been debating on what I want to do with it, because that is unacceptable to me. Anyway, guys, just wanted to bring this to anyone's attention who was thinking about purchasing this knife. It's something I think you should be aware of. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.